Got it. So you want to integrate your phone number with an AI chatbot, similar to ChatGPT. Are you looking for help with the technical setup or something else?
Yes, but I don't like the toll-free number. I want to have a local number like 640 call Sam, like Kolani.ai.
Okay, so you're looking for a local phone number integration, kind of like twilme.ai. You'll likely need a service that offers local numbers and can connect with an AI chatbot. Would you like some advice on how to get started?
Yes, tell me how to get started, but more importantly, I want to teach it to a class that I'm teaching about IT and integration between Twilio and real-time API.
Sounds like a fascinating class. You can integrate Twilio with a real-time API for AI, like GPT, by using Twilio's programmable messaging API. This way, text to your local number can interact with your AI model. For the class, you might want to prepare some code examples and a demo. Does that help?
Yes, and I want it to be free so the students don't have to pay for it and they can try it on. And then, if they want to proceed with the paid service, then they can proceed with the paid service. But just to do the class homework assignment, I want them to use the free phone number from Twilio.io.
You can start by having students sign up for Twilio's free trial, which includes the trial number. They can use this for free to experiment with your API integration. Just remind them there are usage limits on the free tier. This way, they can try it out without any cost. Does that work for your class?
Yes, but I need to get the free, I need to get the real-time API, and I don't know where I can get the free real-time API that is connected to an AI chatbot like Chat
For
GPT.
You can use OpenAI's GPT API, which offers a free tier for developers. It's perfect for integrating with Twilio for your class. Just have your students sign up and start experimenting. Would
Yes,
that work for your needs?
yes, but what you said that it is OpenAI free real-time
Yes,
API for developers?
yes. There's a free tier for developers on OpenAI's API, which provides access to models like ChatGPT. It's great for testing and small-scale use, making it ideal for your class project. Would you like more information on how to get started?
Yes, let me write it down. I need to get a history of our call so I can specify it in some document, and I can try to do it myself and then assign it to the students. Open API free tier for developers. And what is the URL to log into to contact them? And where can I see an example, maybe on YouTube or something, how to get the open free tier for developers? Give me more of the name. What is it called exactly? Open free tier for development. If I search it on YouTube or anywhere else, will I find some URL that I can actually use?
You're looking for the OpenAI API free tier. You can find it there so you
OpenAI,
can
just slow down. OpenAI free real-time API.
It's the OpenAI API free tier. You can find more
OpenAI
details.
API
API,
free tier,
exactly.
and
OpenAI,
that offers the real-time
that
API,
offers
or I have to go to an advanced option or some other option.
the free tier provides access to the real-time API. You won't need an advanced option for basic usage. Just sign up and you'll be able to start right away.
And how do you spell tier? T-I-E-R or T-E-E-R?
It's spelled TIER, like a level or a category.
Okay. I got it. So when I
Awesome. Anything else?
yes, and once I go to it, I'm going to surf to the site right now. When I type it on Google,
Yes. Just search for OpenAI API free tier on Google, and it should take you to the right place.
I did it, and I see a lot OpenAI developer forum.
Yes. The developer program is where you'll find resources for the API, including the free tier. Just follow the links, and you'll be set.
This is it's called OpenAI, API access using free tier. Is that the one?
Yes. OpenAI API access using the free tier. That's the one you need.
Just so many citations. It is hard to tell which is which. And once I do that, there is some kind of an AI guide for doing it, some printed or videos about how to do that.
Yes. There are tutorials and guides available online, both in print and video form. Just search for OpenAI API tutorial on YouTube or Google, and you'll find plenty of resources.
OpenAI, Open API free tier for developers.
Exactly. That's what you're looking for.
For the
OpenAI API free tier for developers.
You mentioned tutorial before.
Yes. Search for OpenAI API tutorial on YouTube or Google. You'll find helpful guides there.
Should I search for video, PDF, or for beginners? What do you think is the best keyword?
For beginners, videos are often the best way to start. They walk you through step by step and are easy to follow. Give those a try first.
Okay, so I ran across that. You use OpenAI API for free.
Yes, that's
Hi there.
right.
Welcome.
You can use the OpenAI
Hi there.
API for
Welcome to
free
another
with their
video.
free tier.
So today I'm going to share.
Yes, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Talk to you later.
You're welcome.
Bye for now.
project using which you can make OpenAI API calls for their model 3.5 Turbo for free. And let me show you how you can do that. But before we get in, you may already know about this company called OpenAI, and they provide a bunch of APIs. If I go back, this is what their API reference looks like. And one of the API endpoints that we are targeting here is a chat endpoint. So in order to make this API call with OpenAI, you need to first authenticate yourself, which means you need to get the API keys. Now, getting the API key, you need to sign up, and then you have to subscribe for a plan. And their pricing is on their pricing page. If I go down and look at 3.5 Turbo, API key, you need to sign up, and then you have to subscribe for a plan. And their pricing is on their pricing page. If I go down and look at 3.5 Turbo, the model actually takes 50 cents for a million tokens for input and $1.50 for 1 million tokens for the output. So, which means that in order to leverage the OpenAI API, even if you're testing, you need to sign up, subscribe, and then you can make the API calls. But let's say you're not ready and you really want to see what the quality of output is and you want to test the models. How can you do that? So very recently, I came across this GitHub project by Pawan Osman. It's called ChatGPT. It says it's a free reverse proxy for OpenAI API. If I go a bit down, it specifically says that it's for the 3.5 Turbo that we saw here, 3.5 Turbo. And then it says it's a is the proxy for free, and it has multiple ways how you can use it, but I always prefer, if the Docker setup is there, I always go with the Docker setup. So I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing on your computer. My assumption is that you have Docker already installed. If not, you can go to docker.com and then you can click on products Docker desktop, and And then since I'm on Mac, it shows me what distribution I should use. If you are using Windows or Linux, they have their distribution. So assuming that you have it up and running, and I will make sure that I have it up and running. So I am in VS Code and I'm on the terminal, so I will say docker minus version. That's the command. I think it's docker minus version. So Docker is already running on my machine. I'll make this a little bit bigger so that you can see things through. So Docker is already running. So what I will do now is I will try to use this repository. So using Docker. So this is the command that we need to run. Now, one tweak that I will do to this command is I always tend to give name to my Docker container so that it's easy for me to follow along, or if I need to change anything, I can do that. So name will be turbo 3.5, let's say. And this hash code means the container has started and it's running. And the way I can test it out is I can say docker ps and filter with name equals turbo, and this container shows up. If I take a bit down, say the container is running. Now, one thing you can also do is you can see the logs. So I can say docker logs minus follow turbo 3.5, and immediately the log says it's running, the server is running at localhost 3040. So if I want to use it locally, I can make use of this API. But if I am in some other machine, let's say I have machine in AWS or GCP, and if I want to make use of this endpoint, then I can use any of the other two endpoints. Now, I'll keep it up and running, and then in order to test it out, I have a file already, and this code is not something that I wrote. We can make use of it, but the idea is they've given the examples of how you can use that. So I've taken the Python example. They say how do I list all the files in a directory in Python, and I have made a chain and it said TypeScript here. That's the only change. But the key part is we are leveraging OpenAI library. So this code depends upon official OpenAI SDK. But the API key is anything. I can change it to big API and nothing will change. And the API call we are making is through the localhost 3040, which is right here where our proxy is running. If you were to hit the actual API call, you would go to API reference here and go to chat. This will be the API call that you will make. But since we are using the proxy, the endpoint is right here. The next step I need to do is I need to run that. So for that, I will take this screen a little bit bigger, open up a new terminal, and I will make sure that a file is already there. And I need to activate my Python environment so that it already has OpenAI dependency. And then I will say Python this. And while it is trying to do something, we can see in the logs what's going on. So it received a request, which is for the endpoint chat completions. If I take you back to the official documentation from OpenAI, it goes to we even chat completions. This is also going to be even chat completions. So it's completely transparent. So if you were to directly hit now to OpenAI platform after you've done this prototyping, you will need to make the change to the base URL and API key and everything will work. Now let's see if we have gotten any response back. So this is the response that we have gotten from ChatGPT 3.5, not ChatGPT, Turbo 3.5 model from OpenAI. And this is great because if you really want to prototype something quickly and you do not want to get into the hassle of giving up your credit card information, setting things up, creating a payment plan, all those things, you can always come back to it. And whenever you're ready to migrate your workload or app to production, all you need to do is to now you're ready to sign up. You can sign up with OpenAI, change these two things, and you're off the hook. So I hope that this was useful. If there are any questions, concerns, new things that you would like to see, please put down in a comment below. If you want to So one of the places where GitHub Codespaces really shines is when you need to do a pull request review by one of your team members, and you, let's say, either do not have your machine with all the setup, or you do not really want to open up the pull request on your machine because you're doing some important work, but you really want to unblock your team member as well. So you can leverage code spaces in these situations. So let me show you how. I'm going to go to pull request, and I have one pull request right now. As I click here, I can see the file changed, which is right here. But I'm not entirely sure if this would work. So how do I make sure everything works by running it? So I can come on code, and here I can either check out this GitHub pull request manually on my own machine, or I can leverage GitHub Codespaces. Now, right now on the current branch, which is the change text, there's already a GitHub Codespaces. So this might have been opened up by my team member. I can either open the GitHub Codespaces on the same branch, in which case I will see the same change, or if I'm skeptical and I really need a team space, I can click on GitHub Codespaces plus button, in which case the changes from this branch, which is change text, will be used in order to create the GitHub Codespaces. So it's starting a fresh GitHub code spaces in GitHub infrastructure, so it takes a little while in the first place. But in few moments, this project should be up and running. So now it says the code spaces is here. It's activating the extensions, and it has opened up the README file. And I believe that we might have to run the npm install just to make sure that everything works fine first. So I'm going to do npm install, and as we let it run, it's running the npm install to make sure all the dependencies are installed. So once it is installed, I'll pause for now and come back when the installation is done. So the installation command is done. So the thing that I can do now is to run the app. I can go and click the ports. Now the port is running. So I'm going to clear the screen and run npm run dash. And as I hit run, it's running the app, and it has also opened up the poll. Or forwarded the port on 5173, which I can look at by clicking on ports, and it's available in the private mode, which means only I can look at it. I can click on this link, and it will open up the app for me. I can see that the change is right here, which is the change I was looking at in the original pull request, which is by Bonsai Labs. And since I'm happy with the changes, all I can do is I can close this. I can also look at the pull request by clicking on the pull request here, which means that the change is right here. There is other thing that we can do is we can either merge the pull request from github.com, or we can also use or leverage GitHub code spaces to merge the pull request. So we can say it looks good to me, and I can hit comment, and I will say create merge commit, and it asked me to merge a pull request. Now you will feel that you're already in VS Code, which you are, but in the browser, and your code is not running locally, but running on GitHub infrastructure. As I click yes, this branch is now merged, and we have the message here, and we can also delete this branch right now. So as I click OK, before I do that, there is an option for us to suspend the code space, which I would love to, because I do not want to be using a code space that I'm not planning to use for further work. I'm going to hit OK, and it's stopping the code space right now, which is the upgraded memory, which is the code space that I am in at the moment. I believe once it's done, it'll close the tab or it'll give me a message saying that the code space has now been suspended. But meanwhile, what we can do, see, it says code space is stopped, and I can either restart the code space or close this tab. As I do that, I can come back to my code repo. I can go back to the pull request. I can see one pull request has been closed. If I come here, my message that I typed from GitHub code space for the pull request has been left, the pull request has been merged, and the branch has been deleted. This is fantastic. So if I go back to the code space now, I should do code space because this one has not been deleted, but rather stopped. So it's not active right now. Great. So as you can see, you can leverage GitHub code spaces to do pull requests, to unblock your team members. Let's say you have 5 pull requests or 6 pull requests to review. You do not have to keep juggling between your single workspace on your local. You can leverage GitHub code spaces to do all your pull request reviews and unblock your team members as fast as possible. Hi there, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to share a project using which you can make OpenAI API calls for
API, and nothing will change. And the API call we are making is to the local 3040, which is right here where our proxy is running. If you were to get the actual API call, you would go to API reference here and go to chat. This will be the API call that we will make. But since we are using the proxy, the endpoint is right here. The next step I need to do is I need to run that. So for that, I will take this screen a little bigger, open up a new terminal, and I will make sure the file is already there.
Hi, I'm ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Just so you know, our conversation may be reviewed for safety. By continuing this call, you agree to OpenAI's terms and privacy policy. So, how can I help you today?
Help me figure out how long would the free ChatGPT access for developers would last.
Oh, I don't have the current information on how long the free access for developers will last. OpenAI often updates its policies, so it's best to check their official website or contact their support for the latest details.
Can you give me the latest one that you have? Don't worry about it if it is outdated. I will check it again.
As of my last update, OpenAI provided a free tier with certain usage limits for developers. However, these terms could have changed, so definitely check their official site for the most current information.
What about the other limitations besides the time period? What other limitations exist for the free access to the ChatGPT API real time?
With the free tier, there are typically rate limits on the number of requests you can make and the amount of data you can process. There may also be restrictions on certain advanced features or priority access to new updates. The specific limitations can vary, so it's a good idea to review the latest terms on OpenAI's website.
Would it be good enough for a classroom demo?
The free tier could be suitable for small-scale classroom projects or demonstrations. However, if you're planning to use it extensively or with a large group of students, you might hit those rate limits quickly. It's worth testing out to see if it meets your needs, or consider a paid plan for more robust usage.
I have about 30 students per class, but I will get each one of them to get their own account, and just to make the homework assignment and make a demo to demonstrate the procedure.
That sounds like a great plan. If each student has their own account, it should help distribute the usage and work within the free tier limits. Plus, it's a valuable experience for them to learn about managing API usage. Should work well for your demo and assignments.
Very good. Thank you. Bye now.
injections as a diagnostic tool, right? Because if you have pain coming from your neck,
As you told her.
right, if we inject the medication anywhere in your body, it will make no difference. But if we inject the medication right where it hurts, you will feel better immediately.
Right.
That confirmation is essential before surgery to make sure that you never have a situation where you go in for surgery, come out, and have the same pain. That is an absolute never event.
Right.
So in order to confirm that, yeah, I use injections as a diagnostic tool. But that being said, most patients, as in like 90%, get better with these injections and are able to avoid surgery. So thanks to guys like Dr. Mena, most patients are able to avoid an operation.
So what exactly is injected?
Usually it's a combination of a local anesthetic and a steroid. The local anesthetic is what gives me the immediate certainty,
Right.
as it gives the patients an immediate awareness that their pain is better. And the steroid kicks in at about a day or two, and then if the patient's problem is predominantly inflammatory, then the steroid is curative. So these injections are not a cover-up. They
Right.
really cure patients in many cases.
Back pain is something we all deal with, but Dr. Bruce says there's no reason for you to suffer. Make sure you get that diagnosis so you can get the right treatment. So to calm shape and size, silicone or saline, there are so many options when it comes to breast implants. We'll hear the risks and benefits when we return. And as always, if you have a question, you can email us by visiting our website, allhealthtv.com, or give us a ring, 855-796-4475. We'll be right back. The Health Channel, a service of South Florida PBS, was created for you to provide the highest quality health and wellness for our community. Everywhere you go, we're here 24/7. Watch us live and get your health questions answered. Thank you for calling into the Health Channel. Or by topics that interest you from our comprehensive online video library. Find us on Comcast and Hotwire Cable, download our mobile app, or visit us at allhealthtv.com. The Health Channel. All health, all the time, everywhere you go. Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses. Do you get a say in what kind of implants you get? Plastic surgeon Dr. Max Polo says you definitely do, but you also get lots of guidance from your doctor. How do you determine the size of the implant, especially if there's no skin maybe to add that implant, or
Right.
that's what your surgeon.
Yes, yeah, great question, and that's something that we have improved over the years with our techniques.
Right.
Is being more careful about our planning and taking measurements of patients. I mean, it's important. There was a question in the script about someone having a tough time with their lung. Not necessarily so. It needs within safe parameters. So using any kind of massive ligaments safety parameters is important. We always should measure the width of the bone, the height of the bone, and using systems to match that so that the patient can have a natural appearance, and also to limit risks such as nerve injury and amputation to the limb if they want to. But you feel that with the practice, it's that risk.
I don't think you brought that up because I think part of that conversation
Why don't you just use Xfinity? Xfinity is just works. Just put it on the computer. Not good. You don't hear it? You hear it? Not good.
Better than before. I'll just replace it and that's it.
Decide which of the implants, or does a patient say, hey, I want saline, or I want silicone, or I think
Probably
it's
about
bad.
they don't sell watermelon juice, so I got that. Okay, what channel is it? Yeah.
PBS.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's called for the what? It's not that. Don't do that. It's a different PBS.
Written down here in this column. I'm going to show you.
So you can make, whatchamacallit, Health Insiders. Here.
Okay, so let's go breast implants 101, the difference between saline, silicone, and that gummy bear implant as well.
Right, right. So there's basically saline. What size implant we need. We may have a large asymmetry.
What?
And we're putting one size implant in one breast and another size in another breast.
Okay.
So to really fine tune and
See the
calculate
difference?
exactly
Night
what
and day.
volume we need in one breast to
Just
have it
do it
match,
from
we'll
there,
put this
and
in
that's it.
during surgery. We'll sit the operating room table up
You
and,
see?
judge, where we have the best symmetry.
Right.
So we may fill this to,
Oh, my head
within
is
a
just
range of 50
burning,
cc's or so,
hurting.
and when we get the
This
best
whole
match,
area
then we
here,
know
I
what
think
size
maybe I
implant
need some
we need,
oil or
and
something.
then we'll open the implant at that
It
point.
just, I don't know what you
But this
did,
is what a
but it
general
wasn't even
standard
hurting
saline
as
implant
much
looks a lot like this
beforehand.
without the
I
tube
guess
attached.
with the sword
There's a
has
tube
the,
that connects to the implant and then is removed and
First has to be
discarded, and
worse,
it's just
or
a
what?
valve and a patch.
That's so interesting.
So this is a standard saline, and it's just a simple sac, silicone elastomer sac. So the outer shell of all the implants is made of silicone.
It's all
It's silicone elastomer, which has different properties than silicone gel. But
Okay.
this is just a simple sac that contains the saline solution.
And this is really sturdy, obviously, and durable.
Right. Yes, it is. Yes. This is why they can last years. These
Exactly.
implants,
Okay.
there was a question about, are silicone implants better? One difference is that saline implants have to have a valve. This is another different type of saline implant, but this is a typical valve. This is how we fill the implant during surgery. It comes empty and deflated. We fill it during surgery. Once we have the final volume, we remove that fill tube and we cap the valve.
And there's no chance of this opening.
There is a chance of this
There is,
opening or
okay.
failing. Of course, it's a mechanical device. So this is one benefit of a silicone implant over a saline implant, is that this doesn't have that valve, which is an additional weak point on the implant. The silicone implants are filled through this patch on the back,
Right.
and then this is sealed. So the saline implants also have this patch. It's necessary in the manufacturing process. This is another weak point in the shell that can fail and leak with time. So these are mechanical devices, just like any mechanical devices. With enough time and wear and tear,
do something.
they're going to eventually break down and leak.
And these will sit differently in the breast as well.
Yes, exactly. So this is a standard saline implant. This is a standard silicone gel implant, which is, again, silicone elastomer on the outside and silicone gel on the inside. And this is a new implant. It's called the Ideal implant. It's a new type of saline implant that is more complex internally. It has multiple shells like this.